Here we are with Mr. Tom Loeffler, that I need to call you the gentleman in boxing, always laughing, always ready for the press, and always giving something for La Raza, to my people, which I appreciate. Now you go into Puerto Rico, you just returned from Merida. Come on. I celebrate this because, you know, I'm deeply inside a Mexican, first of all.
No, Ernesto, it's great to be here. This is one of the first interviews I've done, you know, through the whole pandemic. You know, we're having a nice, you know, invite-only media event here, social distancing, all the protocols are in place. But, you know, it's exciting. You know, ever since we had the big following that we built up with Triple G and the Mexican people, Mexican fans, there's just been always a strong connection. Vitaly Klitschko had a lot of Mexican fans with the WBC heavyweight champion.
Definitely.
If you remember that. And so when we took Bohachuk down there to Merida, like you said, and we took Triple G down a lot of times to Mexico City, to Cancun, it's a strong connection. And now with this fight coming up, March 4th, where Bohachuk's going to fight in Puerto Rico against Brandon Adams, tremendous fight, 2 top 10 guys. Fighting each other, which is really rare to see in boxing these days. And then Fernando Vargas Jr. is going to be there. So, you know, the history with Fernando Vargas Sr. and Felix Trinidad, and now going back there to Puerto Rico for his son to fight, that's a tremendous history for boxing.
Definitely. Let me start with El Flaco.
Okay.
Sergey Bohachuk, because this guy is 18-0, 18 knockouts. He just beat El Pájaro Davila down there. Davila have Caballero in the corner. Come on. And the other side, of course, my Manny Robles. But what this guy have, because I can see, and I think I know something about boxing, this guy is the beast, or the coming beast, in 154. Right?
You know, there's a lot of comparisons between Bohachuk and Triple G.
Yeah.
I tell everyone there's only one Triple G. I mean, what Gennady has in terms of one-punch knockout power, just so much ring IQ, such a high level with his spacing, his power, his timing, his delivery, everything like that. But Bohachuk's about as close as you can get. He has a totally different style. He doesn't have that one-punch knockout power, but you can't get better than 18-0, 18 knockouts. And you just referred to Davila, that fight in Davila, going down to Mexico, fighting a guy that was 21-1.
Wow, yeah.
Never lost in Mexico. And then under the conditions, I have to give a lot of credit to Mario Abraham and the local promotion there in Merida. Everything was very safe. We felt very comfortable with the pandemic. All the things were in place there, but then the rain came. It was outdoors.
I know.
The rain came, and then it was slippery in the ring, and it didn't faze Bohachuk at all. El Flaco felt comfortable there. He was very calm, very collected. And Davila came out and was throwing big shots early on, and if he had gotten caught, you know, it was a very dangerous fight. And so, but being WBC Continental Americas champion, that was a great connection to go to Mexico, defend his WBC title down there against a solid guy like Davila, and yeah, we were excited with the way that turned out with the knockout.
Awesome. We have a visitor here, the puppy. Hey guys, could you help us with the puppy? Well, we have a visitor here. Well, before we go to Puerto Rico, let me ask you this, because it's impossible not to fall in love with El Flaco Bohachuk, because the day that I interviewed him, he tried to speak Spanish. He tried to touch the heart, or not only the fans of his country, but all over the world. He tried to everybody wants to see him fight. He defines himself as a Mexican fighter. My style is a Mexican style.
Well, Gennady is the one that really kind of, when he said, you know, I remember Max Kellerman asked him after that Daniel Deal knockout at Madison Square Garden. He said, what kind of style, how would you describe your style? And he said, you know, I fight Mexican style, because Abel Sanchez was his trainer. Showed him, you know, the body shots, the left hook to the body, everything. You know, when you take that, it's a very similar situation with Bohachuk, because they had, you know, Gennady came up with the amateur program in Kazakhstan. Bohachuk came up with the amateur program in Ukraine, both two of the top amateur programs. And so you take that experience and then you mix it together with Bohachuk started with Abel Sanchez, and then now he's with Manny Robles, like you said, and they really, because of the Mexican trainers that he's been exposed to, really, if you look at his body shots, you look at the combinations that he throws, and then just the the amount of punches. Like I said, even though he's got so many knockouts, he's got a different style than Triple G because he's the type of guy that wears people down.
Yeah.
His work rate, he's always a pressure fighter and heavy hands. Not the one punch knockout power like Triple G has, like I said, but he'll just wear guys down.
Yeah.
And that's what we saw with Davila. We saw that with Tyrone Brunson. A lot of the top guys that he's fought. And now with Brandon Adams, it puts a whole different challenge together with him because Brandon Adams won 12 rounds with Charlo at 160 pounds.
Yeah.
Now he dropped down to 154.
154, yeah.
Looks stronger at 154. So that's a tremendous matchup. Like I said, 2 top 10 rated guys, and whoever wins that fight really deserves a world title shot soon.
Beautiful. How is it feeling to go to Puerto Rico? When we think about Puerto Rico, Cotto, of course, Tito Trinidad, Wilfredo Benitez, Wilfredo Vázquez. I mean, history, great history. How is the feeling, not only for you, but for you, of your fighter? What is telling you about, hey, we're going to Puerto Rico? Right?
Look, I've been to Puerto Rico a number of times. We've had boxing conventions there in Puerto Rico. We did a purse bid one time with the WBO and with Paco Valcarcel over there, so I have a great relationship with Paco. I'm looking forward. I'm supposed to meet with him when I'm actually over there in Puerto Rico. So I look forward to it. It's a great island, tremendous boxing history.
Yeah.
Miguel Cotto, I'm friends with Miguel and Brian Perez, and you know the history with Trinidad being such tremendous stars of our generation. And both of those guys, Cotto and Trinidad, you know, we have a good relationship with Madison Square Garden, and those are 2 of the guys that could sell out Madison Square Garden. You know, Vladimir Klitschko sold it out when we were doing his fights there. Triple G naturally sold it out. But, you know, when you get those Puerto Rican stars in New York to sell out the Garden like that, it's tremendous. So I'm really looking forward to going to Puerto Rico. It's been a while since I've been there. It's been a while since I've been anywhere with the pandemic. But I'm really looking forward to going to Puerto Rico for that fight.
Finally, let's talk about the Vargas, because the other day I was talking with Fernando, with El Malvado, Amaro, and hey, there you go again. And it's so amazing to see what is happening with the family, because Vargas in Espanol mentioned, hey, there is Vargas like forever, cabrones, like the bad word in Mexico, and it feels really excited. It's like, I don't believe they are like Fernanditos. They look similar. They have balls. They have heart. Oh my God, that's a great story.
It's a tremendous story. A tremendous family tradition of boxing. Naturally, Fernando was the pioneer and made his way. And from what I understand, with his upbringing in Oxnard, it wasn't easy, but he had that real Mexican following in terms of like the blue collar fans that really appreciated his style and what he accomplished. And he's really a living legend. And now he's got the next generation, his sons, 3 talented sons. Fernando Jr. is going to be on this show in Puerto Rico.
Nice.
This will be a second fight. Amado, like you said, he made his pro debut. He just made his pro debut in Hermosillo.
Yeah.
And Emiliano, the youngest one, is still amateur, but also tremendously talented and very successful in the amateur. So Fernando has done a great job raising his sons. They've had it easier, you know, because his father is able to show them, and they're guided very well with the mother, Martha. Frankie Casavedas, who is their godfather and really gives them also a strong direction of how to not only conduct themselves in the ring, but outside the ring, which is really important in the sport of boxing when you're an ambassador for the sport of boxing. And there's actually a lot of pressure when you have the Vargas last name, a lot of pressure on the social media, how they conduct themselves, everything like that. But so far, everything that I've seen is very impressive, and you're going to see them today.
Yeah, nice.
They're both Junior and Fernando Senior is going to be here today.
Okay, this question comes from my people. Let me close with this.
Okay.
You know me, I'm the positive guy. I like to build, not to destroy. But I need to ask, what fight is closer for Triple G? Japan, Murata, Munguia, Mexican, or even Canelo? Because the people is asking, and maybe you can say something, because in social media everybody's sorry for that. A lot of trash, a lot of trash, you know.
Yeah.
And when it comes from you, the people needs to understand that is the reality.
Well, a lot of people ask about the Canelo fight, the third Canelo fight. A lot of the fans aren't satisfied with the first two decisions. I thought Triple G clearly won the first fight. The second fight was much closer. You got to give Canelo a lot of credit. He fought better the second fight. I still would have scored it a draw the second time around, where Triple G would have kept his titles. But people ask about the third fight, and that's really a question for Canelo.
Okay.
When DAZN had signed both guys, their intention was for them to fight. They were supposed to fight according to DAZN's schedule last September.
Okay.
Canelo, for whatever reason, decided to go a different direction. He fought Kovalev. And so Triple G is now just focused on his career. The two fights you mentioned are great fights, in my opinion. I think Munguia and Murata are both great fights for Triple G in the middleweight division. If there's a third fight that could be made at Canelo, it could be an interesting twist, because the first two fights were at 160. And now that Canelo seems like he's not going to leave the 168 pound,
anymore,
then that could be interesting. If that fight's made at 168, it could be very interesting. So I think there's still a lot of unfinished business there. Those fights with both of their fan bases, Canelo has a huge fan base, Triple G has a huge fan base. As successful as those fights were financially, that's why I think the demand from the fans and the ability to put it together on the financial part should be there to put it together.
Okay, thank you, sir. And raza, no se olviden de seguir Rig City USA, de seguir 360 Promotions, por favor, y estén pendientes de todo lo que viene para el señor Tom Loeffler. Something to add for la raza?
Just tune in March 4th. You'll see a great fight, Bohachuk Adams. You'll see Fernando Jr. and NBC Sports Network. And always appreciate Ernesto. Remember my prediction for the World Cup that one time?
I never forget that, France. He told me like 4 years before, France is going to win.
I got lucky on that one, but it's always great to see you. You're one of the most knowledgeable boxing people that I know, and I always like to watch your commentary on TV.
God bless you, and thanks again as a Mexican for everything that you are doing, not only for La Raza, because for the boxers, for you I believe you have a little part in your heart which is Mexican too.
I appreciate that. No, I really appreciate the Mexican people, Mexican fans. You know, Triple G made that donation when it had the earthquake in Mexico City, and he actually got introduced on the field of Azteca Stadium as one of the heroes of Mexico. So we really appreciate the support from all the Hispanic fans.
Thank you, sir.
Good. Thanks, Ernesto.
There you go. Si te gustó nuestro contenido, suscríbete a nuestro canal de YouTube. Y si no te gustó, también. No puedes jugar boxeo.